Hi everyone, this is Caitlin Cito from Cito Viola. Now today I am so excited about what I'll be sharing with you because I talk about this with my students all the time. That is using our friend the drone. And yes, it is our friend, I promise you. Okay, now the first thing is you need to get a drone. So if you don't have one of these, I'm using a Korg, a black box. I've had this drone since I was in college, so it's been like 10 years at least, and it's still doing me really, really well. There's some other brands too. Do a little bit of research. You can also download apps on your phone as a drone, and I'm not as familiar with those ones, but I know that there are some really good ones. You could hook them up to a Bluetooth speaker or an auxiliary speaker or whatever you have available. I would just caution about headphones because back when I was in college, there were a couple students who would go in the practice rooms with their big headphones, really nice headphones, and they'd go in there and they would jam out for hours, and it looked like so much fun at the time. I was just thinking, I wish I had headphones like that. But thinking back on it now, was that the best way to use the drone? I'm not really sure it was. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But with the headphones, just make sure that when you are using headphones, you take one off your ear, you take one of the pods out, and you could actually hear yourself playing as well. Because if you can't hear yourself while you're practicing, you're missing out on a whole lot of information. So let's just stop right there. The first really big important thing when you're using the drone, and this is going to optimize. It's really going to optimize your practice if you do this part of it right. That's going to be making sure that you're actually listening to the drone. I know it sounds really obvious. Like, of course we're listening to the drone, but I have seen so many students that put the drone on and they just play through their music. And again, they're jamming out, having a great time. And I always encourage my students to have fun, but make sure that you're making the best out of your practice time. Are you optimizing every minute that you're practicing so that you could become better at your instrument? That's the big goal here. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. Now, when I say listen, always listen to the drone, what I mean is make sure that it's audible and it's like at the front of your attention, because it's really easy for the drone to kind of become background noise, and it's just something that's adding a little bit of harmony to your practice, and it makes it feel good. But I want to make sure that we're really spending time actively listening, blending our notes with the drone so that we optimize the harmony. We want the most harmony in our music. We want the most resonance to come out of our instruments. We want to really spend a little bit of time going beyond just tuning it up, but making it resonant, making it harmony. We want to make every single note feel like it's in harmony with the universe. Even if you're just playing by yourself, one note at a time, it still needs to feel like that. So, hearing the drone, what we could do, besides just putting the volume all the way up, if you feel like it's blasting your ears out, you could try to use one of these practice mutes. They have metal ones, but I get a little nervous having metal near my instrument, so I have I think it's metal with like a rubber outside to it, and I like this a lot. I've been through a couple different ones that I tried. What I don't like about these, especially on the viola sometimes, is that they make the C string sound a little funny, but I mean, I guess it's just bringing out the funny sounds of the C string anyways, so it doesn't hurt too much. So when we're doing the drone, I want to make sure that the volume, I could hear it almost equally. So without using this tool, I might have to play a little bit softer. So if I have a C drone on and I play the C scale, I'm only gonna play like mezzo piano maybe. So I'm definitely not going through my music like performance practice. And this actually leads me into the next point, which is which notes do I set the drone to? For each scale, set it to the tonic note, and then you could practice blending. The thirds have a really nice blend. The fours should have a perfect blend. And the fifths, the perfect fifths, should have a really nice blend. The sevenths will have a bit of a clash, which is also kind of fun to listen to. And the octaves should have a really perfect blend with the drone. So you're listening for the perfect intervals, the fourths, the fifths, the octaves. The thirds and the sixths, there's a little bit more wiggle room depending on what key area that you're in, whether you're looking for a brighter third or a darker third. So that there's a little bit more wiggle room, but the perfect ones, there's only one right answer for that. So we focus in on those. And once we get those really good, we can move on to like the thirds and the sixths, and we could listen out for those really nice clashes with the sevenths. I love sevenths. And that'll be really good. Now, if music theory isn't really your thing, you never took music theory, you just started school, you're learning all of this stuff. We're always learning these things. So don't feel bad if you don't know your key areas right away, but go on CitoViola.com and look at the free resources page. I made a really nice key signature cheat sheet that you can use to figure out what key areas you might be in. So that's just like a little bit of theory that helps our cause of optimizing our practice time. So check that out, and yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, so which notes to set the drone on? Oh, this is a really good one. Go slow. You have to go really, really slow. When I say slow, I don't even just mean slow. I mean slow, like a turtle. Like you're gonna play note by note and make sure that every single note has the blend that you want to optimize the piece that you're playing. So if I'm playing, let's say I'm playing Bach's, the prelude to the third suite, C major. Okay, I'm gonna put my drone on and I'm gonna test it out. We already know I'm not going to play it in tempo. I'm going to play it slow. But I'm going to play it so slow that I could blend every single note with the drone. There's my fifth. It's got a blend. My fourth. I might want to go back a couple times. So, make sure that you're really hearing the blend of every single note. Don't blow through them. Play them one at a time. There's my major third. Tonic. And then my third again. Fifth. Make sure that's not too sharp. Make sure it's ringing. And then you could gradually speed it up. But make sure that those perfect intervals are really blending the way that you want. When you're playing a scale, okay, that opening is a perfect example of this. When you're playing a scale in a piece of music, it's so easy to just play the scale. It's just a scale. But what I encourage you to do is to treat every single note as if it is important. So instead of thinking this is just a scale, I'm just going to play down the scale, I want you to think of every single note. How does each note fit into the harmony? How do my fourths and fifths blend with a C drone? How are my thirds and my sixths fitting into the harmony? And is it what I want to sound like? I promise you, if you do that with a piece like the C major prelude, it's going to sound so good because your viola is just going to be ringing and resonating, or whatever instrument, whatever piece you're playing, it's just going to resonate so much more if you take the time to get every single note to fit in the harmony. It might feel like it takes a lot longer to practice that way, but I promise you it is more efficient because your ear is going to absorb all that information and you're going to start noticing it everywhere. So you'll be sitting in orchestra and you'll hear harmonies and you'll hear that blend in a different way that you've never even heard it before. That's where you want your ears to be. So in a way, this is almost part of your ear training as well. So music theory, ear training, it all fits together in a nice little thing there. So really aim for every single one of those notes. I wouldn't do it all at once. Like I wouldn't play every single note of the prelude and blend it all at one time. What I would do is I would break it up into sections. So maybe I'll take the first 4 bars and then I'll really tune it up, narrow it down, fix all of my adjustments, make every note harmonize, every note blend with the drone, and then maybe I'll take the next 4 bars. So I'll build on that. And then maybe there will be a passage in the middle that's really tricky with the intonation. So I'll take 4 bars of that. Notice a pattern. I'm just picking 4 bars. It's usually a pretty standard phrase length. So 4 bars is pretty good to think of, or 2 bars if it's really complex, or even bar by bar if it's changing harmonies on every bar. So just take it in these small little chunks, and I promise you, when you add the chunks together, you're going to find that your piece is harmonizing. It is resonating so much better. It's almost as if, even though it's a solo piece, maybe that you're practicing, that you can hear the orchestra behind you. So it's really interesting how that works. Once you really get used to slowing it down, blending, harmonizing every single note and fitting it, blending it with that drone, it's just going to revolutionize the way you hear music, the way you practice music, the way you play music. You're not going to play it the same way if you are really hearing the harmonies and how they move in different directions. So that's the really exciting part. So I think I'll leave you with that. Check out my website, www.citoviola.com, for some pretty great blogs and some free resources, scale fingerings, some all-state stuff if you're in high school. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to practicing with you all, to helping you all practice better. And I hope that you enjoyed this blog. Feel free to subscribe. And again, check out citoviola.com. Have a great day.